It always feels good when you are appreciated. SLT non-stop broadband. Free loyalty data added as you stay connected.
ලෙන්ගතුකම වැඩි කරගන්න ලව්ජු රුපියල් 50ට අඩු කළා.
මාමේ එන්න අපිට එකක් බොමු.
Tonight, Indian ties. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa places a high premium on the relationship with India while seeking a moratorium on all loan repayments from the neighbours. It finally happened. Novel coronavirus death toll surpasses SARS. PCOI revelations. The CID had known of Zahran Hashim's terror intents even before Easter attacks. Rampage. Rogue Thai soldier kills 26 before being shot dead. All this and much more coming up on this Sunday, the 9th of February 2020.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9.
මේ සීන් එකෙන් කට් වෙන්න. ඇන්ටිජර් මවුත් වොෂ් සමගින් එන ක්ලෝස් අප් ජෙල් එක ස්ටෝරි එක ස්ටාර්ට් කරන්න.
Hi.
Hi.
From Studio 24 in Colombo.
A very good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Shanella Fernando. Moving on to your top stories for tonight. Now, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa says that the government has asked India for a moratorium on all loan repayments until Sri Lanka's economy recovers. He was also optimistic that other countries such as China will also follow suit if India consents to the request. What's more, the PM insists that the government has a firm policy on not allowing any national resources to be given to foreign control and that the government is not responsible for agreements on projects India entered into under the Maithripala Sirisena regime.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, who is currently in India on a 4-day state visit, has told an Indian media outlet that any agreement signed with India in 2017 was not even pursued by the last government, as then President Maithripala Sirisena rejected all the projects the former Prime Minister had signed. Premier Rajapaksa added, quote, "We are not responsible for those projects. The Mattala Airport project is also out. Our government has a firm policy on not allowing any national resources to be given to foreign control," unquote. In terms of security cooperation with India, the PM said that the government has decided to have more intelligence sharing and increase the technical assistance from India as well as training. He also expressed hope that India would continue to help in the ongoing investigations related to the Easter Sunday terror attacks and expressed the desire to continue the pre-2015 project for trilateral terror and security cooperation between Maldives, India and Sri Lanka. The PM said that the relevant meeting might be held as soon as possible, possibly in the Maldives, and discuss how to take the trilateral idea forward. When asked whether security and intelligence sharing with Pakistan proved to be a difficult balancing act given India's concerns about terror emanating from Pakistan, Prime Minister Rajapaksa conceded that it will be, adding that Sri Lanka is a friendly country and have friendly ties with all countries in the region. He said, quote, "We are friendly with China too, but the Indian relationship is much stronger and very important to us," unquote. On India's concerns for the Tamil population in Sri Lanka, the Premier said, quote, "We have always understood these concerns. Soon after the war ended in 2009, we had elections and we allowed the North to select their own Chief Minister, but nothing moved after that. We are now expecting to hold our parliamentary elections this April and after that the provincial council elections. We will appoint a team to go to Jaffna to discuss the way forward," unquote. On devolution of power, the PM said that the matter has to be discussed, but the government needs to have someone to discuss who can take responsibility for the Tamil areas. To that end, the PM said, the best thing is to hold elections and then ask for their representatives to come and discuss the future with the government. He added that the Tamil National Alliance is not interested in talks at present and they are asking for things which the majority community in Sri Lanka will not accept. On the topic of dropping the national anthem in Tamil during Sri Lanka's Independence Day ceremony, Prime Minister Rajapaksa held India as an example for singing the national anthem in one language despite the country having various languages. When asked how the government plans to service its debt, the PM conceded that it is a worry, adding that the government has asked the Indian side for a moratorium on all loan repayments for 3 years until Sri Lanka's economy is revived. He noted, quote, "If the Indian government takes this up, then other governments might agree to do the same thing, including China. It all depends on the stand India takes," unquote. He was also confident that Sri Lanka will somehow manage to pay its $5 billion in debt servicing due this year. On regaining control of the Hambantota port from China, the PM said that although the matter is discussed, it is difficult as the previous government had already completed the handover of control. He was optimistic that China may agree to Sri Lanka's request, but on some terms. On the 19th Amendment, the Prime Minister said that it will be done away with, following which a way forward will be thought of. While saying that the former Minister of Law, G.L. Piris, is already studying it, the PM said that opinions will be obtained on what to do. Adding that the majority of voters in Sri Lanka voted for President Gotabaya, the PM said that it means people want the president to have some control of the country's development and governance, and it must be respected. Given the confusion with the 19th Amendment, Prime Minister Rajapaksa insisted that only two brothers like Gotabaya and himself can handle it, as no other president and prime minister will ever agree on this issue. In the meantime, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa met with Indian President Ramnath Kovind at the Rashtrapati Bhavan in New Delhi. This morning, the Premier met India's former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, with Congress leader Rahul Gandhi also joining the occasion. The Prime Minister also toured Uttar Pradesh this morning, where a special welcoming ceremony was organised for him. He engaged in religious observances at the Kashi Vishwanath temple, located on the west bank of River Ganges in Varanasi.
Touch. Jambu Dweepe Bharat Varse Bharat Khande.
What most people across the world expected and feared has finally happened. The death toll of the novel coronavirus has now surpassed that of the SARS outbreak of 2003, and it doesn't show signs of subsiding anytime soon. A shocking 91 deaths were added to the tally overnight, placing the overall number of deaths at 813 rather. The outbreak is said to have a heavy toll on the world's second largest economy as well, with experts warning that the coronavirus will have a bigger economic impact on China than the 2003 SARS outbreak, with forecasts for the country's 2020 growth downgraded significantly. More people have now died from coronavirus in China than did worldwide during the 2002-2003 outbreak of severe acute respiratory syndrome, also known as SARS. The total number of infections in the country have also risen to 37,198, while the number of recoveries have also significantly gone up to 2,649. 2 people have died from the virus outside mainland China, one in Hong Kong and another in the Philippines, and at least 25 countries have confirmed cases. Chinese authorities are taking increasingly extreme measures to contain the rapidly spreading Wuhan coronavirus. Courts in different provinces in China are also releasing new guidelines on the use of laws to stop the spread of the virus. The Heilongjiang province is seemingly taking the tougher stance by announcing that anyone who deliberately spreads the coronavirus to cause public harm could face the death penalty. Meanwhile, foreign media reports that officials in China have started rounding up possible carriers of the virus and dragging them out their homes. In a video emerging on media websites show a man suspected of having coronavirus desperately sprinting away from officials, trying to put him in quarantine. Economists have meanwhile warned that coronavirus will hurt China's economy more than SARS and lower its growth for 2020. China's economy is bigger and weaker than during SARS, and ill effects are already being felt across supply chains and in commodities markets. Meanwhile, 6 new cases of Wuhan coronavirus have been confirmed on the Diamond Princess cruise ship docked off the coast of Yokohama. The latest confirmed cases bring the total number of infected people from the ship to 70 and the total in Japan to 96. In Singapore, a 6-month-old baby is among 4 new cases reported, with the infant separated from the mother and is currently under treatment. Major airlines have also suspended flights to and from China, while several countries have evacuated their citizens from Wuhan and the wider Hubei province in a bid to stop the spread of the infection. According to foreign media, the northern Chinese province of Hebei will keep its schools shut until at least the 1st of March to control the coronavirus outbreak. Hong Kong has lifted a quarantine on the World Dream cruise ship after clearing all its crew members of the new virus. The ship, which has 1,800 mostly Hong Kong passengers and an equal number of crew members, had been placed under quarantine since it docked on Wednesday after 8 mainland Chinese passengers sailing in the ship were diagnosed with the virus last month. Meanwhile, Malaysia has expanded a ban on visitors from China as a measure to curb the spread of the coronavirus outbreak. On the 27th of January, the Southeast Asian nation imposed a temporary ban on travellers arriving from the city of Wuhan, the epicenter of the outbreak, and the surrounding province of Hubei. Russia, however, sent a cargo plane to China yesterday with 23 tons of humanitarian goods on board to help tackle the outbreak. The cargo consists of pharmaceuticals and personal protective equipment. The move is welcome relief as China faces a severe shortage of equipment, including suits, masks and goggles to protect medical workers from infection. In a statement today, China's National Health Commission called for the reasonable use of protective suits, cautioning against excessive and disorderly use of the clothing that would waste resources and could also increase infection. In the meantime, Hungarian police have uncovered a network of fake news websites that reported alleged coronavirus-related deaths in Hungary, which is so far free of confirmed infections from the deadly virus. Back in Asia, the Singapore Air Show, however, is set to go ahead, but under a cloud of health and economic concerns, as dozens of exhibitors pulled out of Asia's largest aerospace gathering due to virus fears. Singapore advised non-essential large-scale events should be deferred or cancelled, but said the air show would go ahead. The Presidential Commission of Inquiry probing the Easter Sunday attacks was told today that the Criminal Investigations Department knew of Easter attacks ringleader Zaharan Hashim's terror intents well before the April blasts. These revelations were made by Mohammad Razik Mohammad Taslim, who was shot in the head by terrorists following the vandalism of statues of Lord Buddha in December of 2018 in Mavanalla.
Mohammad Razik Mohammad Taslim, who was shot in the head by terrorists after statues of Lord Buddha were vandalized in Mavanalla, was summoned to the Presidential Commission of Inquiry probing the Easter Sunday attacks today. His left arm and leg are still paralyzed owing to the attack. The witness stated before the commission that he had assisted the CID officers in the investigations into the arrest of Sadiq and Shahid, the main suspects in the statue vandalism in Mavanalla. He said that CID Inspector of Police Marasinghe involved him in finding a suspect in January of last year in Putlam. The witness further stated that the team, including IP Marasinghe, was in search of an individual named Mufiz, and upon a tip-off, the team entered a land in the area of Laktowatte in Vanathavilluwa. He added that when he entered the premises, he saw 2 persons burying something, adding that one of them was identified as Mufiz. The witness also revealed that as per investigations with regards to the incident, Sadiq and Shahid had visited the site on a number of occasions. According to Taslim, 2 pairs of shoes and clothes found at the premises were accepted as belongings of Sadiq and Shahid by Mufiz. During the search, a Quran, 6 bulbs, 99 detonators, equipment for 3 huts, a compass and a digital camera were found inside a closet. The witness further revealed that while checking the back of a building at the premises, the team found 10 black cans, one of which was empty, but the other 9 contained acid. When the team examined the premises where the burial took place, they uncovered 3 blue barrels of 250-litre capacity, which contained a white powdery substance. The witness said that Mufiz admitted to have leased the land to Sadiq and Shahid while revealing that the explosives and equipment belonged to the duo. The witness also mentioned that IP Marasinghe contacted Director CID Shani Abesekara in this regard and reported the findings to him, adding that a large quantity of C4 explosives was discovered. He went on to say after the government analyst and the CID director inspected the scene the next day, the 4 suspects were arrested and handed over to the Puttlam police. When questioned whether they found a cache of weapons, the witness responded saying that a cache of weapons was found from a farm located in a corner of the land. The commission questioned the witness whether IP Marasinghe informed him about any involvement of Zahran, to which he responded saying that several days later, IP Marasinghe showed him a picture of Zahran Hashim, saying he was behind the entire process. The witness proceeded to say that he was shot in the head on the 8th of March 2019 for assisting the investigation.
The Afghan Minister of Finance Mohammad Humayun Qayyumi met with President Gotabaya Rajapaksa at the President's residence today. Minister Qayyumi also serves as a special advisor to the President of Afghanistan. The visiting minister and the President discussed topics of bilateral relations and regional issues. The Afghan ambassador to Sri Lanka was also present for the occasion. Meanwhile, the government, under its program to provide jobs for unemployed graduates, has raised the age limit of applicants to 45 years. Previously, the age limit given for graduate applicants was 35. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa made this decision considering the requests made by many public organizations. The annual Navam procession organized by the Hunupitiya Gangarama temple for the 42nd consecutive year was worked off last evening. The sacred casket was placed on the pinnacle bearing tusker by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, with Speaker of Parliament Karu Jayasuriya and opposition leader Sajid Premadasa also in attendance. Addressing the occasion, Venerable Kirinde Assajithera stated that usual obstacles faced when accommodating elephants in Colombo intended for processions were however non-existent this year, since President Gotabaya had made special arrangements, including the facilitation of elephant baths. The Navam procession took to the streets at the auspicious time of 7 p.m. It also featured around 50 tuskers and elephants. More news on the other side of this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back now. President's Counsel Ali Sabri believes that it is imprudent for intellectuals to stay away from politics, as it will foster an environment where fools thrive. Addressing the second Viatmaga conference of the Kegaul district last evening, Sabri went on to say that a culture shift in Sri Lankan politics was experienced in 1977, where politicians with greed replaced those with noble intentions.
ඒ පත් කරගප්පු නායකයා හරහා මේ රට වෙනස් වෙන්නට ඕන මේ රට සමෘද්ධිය සංවර්ධනය සාමය උදෙසා ගමන් කරවන්නට ඕන ඒකේ ප්‍රතිලාභ මේ රටේ සිව් කොනේ සිටින සියලු ශ්‍රී ලාංකිකයන්ට ලැබෙන්නට ඕන එතකොට තමයි අපිට නිදහසේ හුස්ම ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ නැත්නම් වැඩක් නැහැ අපි කියනවා බුද්ධිමතුන් පය ගන්න නැති තැන මෝඩයෝ පිනුම් ගහනවා කියලා 1977 වෙනකන් අපි දැනන් හිටියා ලංකාවේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව තුල ප්‍රධාන වශයෙන් හිටියේ රට ගැන කැක්කුමක් තියෙන උගත් බුද්ධිමත්තු එහෙම නැත්නම් තමන්ගේ ධනය රට වෙනුවෙන් සහ මිනිස්සු වෙනුවෙන් වියදම් කරපු වෙනස්ම ආකාරයේ දේශපාලඥ කණ්ඩායම 77න් පස්සේ මේක වෙනස් වුණා. ඇතැම් අය දේශපාලනයට එන්න පටන් ගත්තේ පරප්‍රසාද බලාගෙන. අවාසනාවකට වගේ එහෙම දෙයක් සිද්ධ වෙච්ච ගමන් අර බුද්ධිමත්තු ඒකට මුහුණ දෙනව වෙනුවට පැත්තකට වෙලා බලාගෙන හිටියා. ඒකේ ප්‍රතිඵල තමයි අපිට ඔය එක ටේප් වලින් සහ ටෙලිෆෝන් කෝල්ස් වලින් එළියට එන්නේ. නේද? ඒව පේනවා දේශපාලනය කරන්නේ මේ රටේ දේශපාලනය කළ යුතු අයද නැද්ද කියලා. හැබැයි ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ අඩුපාඩු කිය අපිත් ඒ ගමන ගියා නම් නැති වැඩකුත් නැහැ. මේ වියත් මග වෙනි සංවිධාන සහ අනිකුත් වෘත්තීය සංවිධාන වලට ලොකු වගකීමක් තියෙනවා. අපි කියනවා keep the pressure on.
A new alliance named Tamil Makkal Thesiya Kootani under the leadership of former Chief Minister of the Northern Province C.V. Vigneswaran was formed today. The signing of the alliance took place in Jaffna. The alliance include Vigneswaran-led Tamil Makkal Kootani, EPRLF-led by Suresh Premachandra, Tamil National Party led by S. Srikanta and Anandi Shistran led Elam Tamil Independent Organisation. The alliance is set to contest at the upcoming general election against the Tamil National Alliance. In your business news, India's economy, especially its tourism industry, is set to be hit hard owing to the novel coronavirus outbreak, with two operators concerned that they could lose up to $500 million due to cancellations by Chinese tourists and others.
Indian tour operators estimate that they could lose up to $500 million due to cancellations from tourists from China and other countries with the coronavirus outbreak, a cost that could rise fourfold if it persists through the year.
We are expecting about 40 to 50,000 tourist cancellation, because this is the Chinese New Year period when we get the maximum Chinese people travel during this period. And if it is so, then we are going to lose about $500 million.
State carrier Air India has cancelled flights to China and Hong Kong until further notice, while private carrier Indigo has suspended its flights until the 20th of February. According to the government estimates, more than 280,000 Chinese tourists visited India in 2018 and were among the top 10 spenders by nationality, despite being less than 3% of the 10.6 million foreign tourists in 2018. Tour operators said that more than 50,000 Chinese tourists were expected to visit during January and February, and most of these bookings were now cancelled.
Sri Lanka stocks closed 0.10% lower last Friday, generating a market turnover of 417 million rupees. Foreign selling accounted for 47% of the total weekly turnover. Moderate activity levels are to prevail in the coming week with a positive momentum in the market. Let's now take a more detailed look at what we can expect in the market in the week ahead.
On expectation of company earnings portraying an upturn in most counters, we expect a positive momentum to continue in the market along with moderate activity level. Nonetheless, foreigners are likely to show selling pressure in the upcoming week as well. We expect the selling pressure to subsidize with the release of company earnings.
International and sports news on the other side of this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. In your international news, Thai security forces today shot and killed a rogue soldier who went on a rampage in a shopping mall in a northeastern city, ending an overnight siege after a series of attacks that left at least 26 people dead and 57 injured. Thai police and the army confirmed that the soldier had been shot dead at the Terminal 21 mall in the city of Nakhon Ratchasima. Police have identified the suspected shooter as a 32-year-old soldier. The killings began at around 3:30 in the afternoon yesterday when the soldier opened fire in a house before moving to an army camp and then to the mall, posting messages on Facebook as he went. Police closed off streets around the mall and kept journalists behind a security cordon, fearing the gunman had taken hostages. Dozens of terrified shoppers were evacuated from the center as armed police said they had taken control of the ground floor of the complex. Thai media said the suspected shooter had worked at an army base close to Nakhon Ratchasima, which is about 250 kilometers from the capital Bangkok. The gunman wrote on his Facebook page earlier in the day that death is inevitable for everyone. The suspect also posted a picture of what appeared to be his hand holding a gun. Before the attack, the soldier had posted on his Facebook account that he was out for vengeance. He did not say for what. The Prime Minister said the killings may have arisen out of a grudge over a land deal in which the gunman felt he had been cheated. Australia's wild summer continues as wildfires, which the country was forced to endure for months, are now replaced with floods. Tropical cyclone Damien lashed Australia's western coast with heavy rain and winds last afternoon. Authorities are yet to assess the full extent of the damage, and residents of some coastal areas were urged to seek shelter. The Category 3 cyclone is forecast to bring ferocious winds and a potentially dangerous storm tide. Strong winds and rains have brought down tree branches as Damien brought winds with gusts up to 220 kilometers per hour, which while nearing its center when crossing the coast yesterday. Meanwhile, vehicles struggled through flooded roads as the highest rainfall recorded in almost 20 years drenched Australia's wildfire-ravaged east coast, dousing the blazes and providing welcome relief to farmers battling an extended drought. In your sports news, Juventus suffered a 2-1 shock loss at the hands of Hellas Verona in Serie A last evening. But Juventus forward Cristiano Ronaldo moved a step closer to a record in the league as he netted in his 10th successive league game. The best goal-scoring runs in a single Serie A season have stopped at 11 games, with Fabio Quagliarella achieving the feat last season and Gabriel Batistuta in 1994 to 1995. Cristiano Ronaldo also became the first player in Juventus history to score in 10 consecutive Serie A matches. Ronaldo has now scored 20 goals from 20 league games this season, with 15 of those strikes coming in his last 10 outings. With that, we wrap up tonight's edition of First at 9. I'm Shanella Fernando. Thank you for joining. Good night.